Okay. Um. Good day, viewers. Anytime you come across this video, my greetings extend to you. So today, without taking much of your time, so this is Illuminate Tutorials. I'm Stanley by name. Then today I will be taking us a topic under set, which is Venn diagram. And we all know that set is a collection of what things. Now, if you look at some things, maybe like mathematical sets, now we have a collection of what of mathematics, all those things using mathematics inside the set. Then if you look at it, you can have C square, divider, compass, and so on and so forth. Now today we'll be diving into now. Before we move on to the subtopic of today on that set, let's just throw more light on some things that we know from beginning on the set. Now, those are the basic things we ought to know in our secondary school. And this Venn diagram, I know, is a major problem in sets that most students find difficult anytime they come across it. Now, today, by the help of God, I'll be explaining it bit by bit to paste a clearer understanding or a clearer view on Venn diagram. So, anytime you come across a question that involves Venn diagram, you will find it easy and you will be able to solve it. Now, before we move on, so I will just explain some key things under Venn diagram. Now, what are those key things? Now, first of all, we have something like this. Now, if we have something like this, that's what intersection of sets. Now, that's it. Then we now have what? This is what the universal set. Universal set. Then we now have something like this, which is what the union sets. Union of sets. Let me just say union of sets. Then we now have this, maybe like an element with this, which is what complementary sets. Complementary what sets. Now this is what intercepts. Now most times when we're plotting graph, in mathematics, now or even in physics, they will ask us to look for the intercept. Now the intercept is simply what a place where s and y would meet a common point, which is what this. Now intercept also means what in sets is what a common thing between what element of what two sets. Again now element of what two sets. That's what intercept. Now we have the universal set, which is the mother set, which contain all the sets. Then we now have what that's the total number. So let me just put it in total number of all the sets, which is what the universal set. Then this one is what common between two sets. Numbers are common between two sets. Common between two sets. Why this one is what addition or coming together of all the sets, arranging it or joining together of all the sets, joining or adding all the sets together, or putting everything inside one set. Then this one is what a complement. That means is what complementing the universal what set. Now, or sometimes they call it a prime. Now let's just do some example. Then looking at it now, maybe you will ask something like this: a intercept. Maybe like now, a this is a element of a. So we have 1, 3, and 4. Then the universal is supposed to be up. Let me just put the universal set here. So the universal set is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the universal set. Why for element of B, set B or anyone? We have 2, 3, 4, and let me just leave it like this. Now they now ask us, those are the values. This is the universal set, this is the element of B, and this is the element of A. And they now ask us to look for A intercept of B. Now, if you are asked to look for A intercept B, that's what is common between what A and B. What can you find in A? In elements of A, and you can also find the what in B. Now, first of all, we have what 3 and what 4. So the answer is what 3 and what 4. That's what A intercept what B. Then A union B is actually what or arrange everything in ascending order. That means join everything together. Now that means a union. You know, union in marriage also means what joining together. Now maybe like a marriage, a couple now coming to, maybe like a marriage now, man and woman coming together, then becoming one flesh, then they stay together in one house, they share things together, and they give it to children, all this kind of stuff. That's union. Now, union is same thing as what adding everything together. Let's then stay in one set. Now that's what union. A union would be. That's actually one. Then we have what two is there. Then we have what three. Three is there. Then we have what four. That's what A union would be. Now you don't have to write it two times. If the a figure appear two times, they just pick one out of it. Then we now have what A prime. Now A prime is actually what the element that are in A that are not in what in the union set. Now what are the elements in what A that are not in the union set? First of all, we have what or the elements in union in universal sets that are not what in the element of what A. Same thing. Now what is not common there? Now we have what two. We now have four. Then we now have no, four is common, is not part. Then we have what five, five. So that's what complement of what A. So that's just it. Now you can pause the video and just go over it again. Now without waiting most of our time, now let's move to the business today of today's class. Now that's why I've written all the questions to make it easier, so that the video to reduce the duration of the video and make it more comprehensive enough or shorter, so that to be to not take to be easier to assimilate, something like that. Now first of all, this is what it said. Then this now Venn diagrams is what a graphical representation of what set. Now not necessarily mean that making use of shapes. It can make use of rectangle, square, any other shape of any shape that they want to use or you want to use to represent your Venn diagram is acceptable. Now first of all, the key is you ought to know that first of all, this is what, let me just say this is element A and this is what set B. Now this is what the intercepts between A and what B. I guess you know. Then this. Now, what if there is not another element here? Then let's just term this one as C. Now, this is what the intercept between A, B, and what C. Now, this is a common point for all the three what sets. Now, this one is just between what A and what B. Now, why for this one now? This side is for what B and what C. The intercept between B and what C, because there's a common point between B and C here. Why this one is what the intercept between what A and what C, because there's a common point between A and C here. Now, if anyone maybe like they now said none, if he's then his universal set will be what outside, or he can decide to put it inside. Most times you see question that they said none of neither, none, maybe like no the student neither participates in this nor this, then you can decide to put it what outside the brackets. Like now, then universal set will be what outside. That's the total. Now let's move on to this. Let's solve some question direct before we call it a class. Now let's move on to the question we have on the board. They said in an examination, S candidate took what geography paper and 3S candidate took what physics paper. Given that 6 candidate took what both papers, illustrate the data on a Venn diagram if the total number of candidates here was 46. Find X. Now looking at it very well, they said S candidate took what geography. Now I will explain the keyword there. S candidate, well, let's represent geography as G. The number of students that took geography were what X. While the number of students that took what physics were 3 times the number of people that took what geography. Then we now said given that 6 candidates took both. Now both is the same thing as what intercept. That means everybody took it. That means the number of people that took both of them, that's G intercept what P, is equals to 6. Then we now have the union set, which is what 46. Now looking at it very well, you see that there is no only in anything there. Now that only means a lot. Now since there is no only, that means we are assuming that some people that took geography also took what physics. Now if there is only there, that means if they say only 3 S candidates took what geography, That means it is only those things that took geography, they did not take any other subjects again. But since there is no only there, that means some people that took what geography also took what physics. That's what it simply means. Now just take note of that one. Now since there is nothing like that, then we now try to for us to get the number of students that took only geography, we subtract what the common one. I get now. We subtract the what the common one. That means the union set is equals to, that means everything add together will give us 46. Is equals to what x. That means number of people, if you want to get the student that took only geography alone, then you minus the student that took what both. Then you have to plus for this other one 3x, then minus, if you want to get the total number of people that took only phases, you minus what the people that took what the both subjects. Then after that one, then what is that next? Then you now what add the what this the number that took both for us to get the total number of students. Now, if you now look at it very well, this we cancel what this. We now have what s minus 3x, all this kind of stuff. Then we now have what 6 is equals to x minus 6 plus 3x. Now, if you collect like terms, you now have what this one come here, so now be what 50 what 2. Then this is what 4x. Now, if you divide by what 4, divide by what 4, 4 here 1, 4 here 1. Then x is now equals to what 52 divided by 4. Then here is what 2. Here is what 26. Here 2 here is 13. 2 here 1. That means s is equals to what 13. Now we've got the value for what x. Now if you now want to get that is number for x. Now let's now represent everything inside a Venn diagram, which they ask us to do. Then draw your Venn diagram. Since we only have what two sets, we have this, then we have what this. Now, since this one is common, this set G, and this is what set P. That's geography and physics. Then people that took both, we have put 6 here. Then the people that now took uh, geography alone is X, which is what 13. Then put your 13 here. While people that took physics, that's 3x. That's 3 times what 13. If you go 3 times 13, that's 39, if I'm not mistaken. It's 39. So that's just the answer. Then, but it asks us to just illustrate everything inside the Venn diagram and then find x. So let's just put everything here. That's as 3x. Then this one as what? X. Then this is value for what? X. That's the answer. Then the union set, you can decide to put it outside, which is what? 46. Now, if you want to get this number of students that took only geography, just subtract it. Then subtract this. After you add them, if you look for the value, that's 39. 39 minus 6. 39 minus 6, which is equals to 30, 33. That were the only people that took only physics. Then 13 minus 6. 13 minus 6. You minus it, that's what? 7. Am I mistaken? Okay. So that were the only people that took only geography and physics. So let's now move on. Let's solve the next question. So you can pause it and go over it again to understand it, to have a proper understanding of it. Now let's now move to the second question. Now remember what I said. Take note of the only, and take note when the only is not used. Then they said in question 2, now they said in a class the number of students studying what French or history is what 40. That means the universal set is what 40. Then 20 students study both what subjects. That means students that study what history and French is what 20. Then I said, and the number of students who studied what French only, take note of that. French only is what 10. 10 more than what the number of students who studies what history, that's plus what x. Then I said, okay. Then that means the number of students that study only history will not be what x. That's what x. Then I said what? Find what a how many what French, how many students study what French and how many students study what history. You can see now. Then I said only You can see this one is only. Number of students who study French only is 10 more than the number of students who studies what history only. Take note of this only. It's very, very important. Now, let's now solve. Now, since we're giving only, we don't need to subtract the common the people that study both. Now, since it's only, now let me explain this thing very well for you guys. Now, imagine a class, maybe like a carryover student, or maybe carry over 100 level course. Now, that 100 level course, maybe like is mass 101, maybe like mass 101, and the person is in 200 level. He's no longer doing what mass 101 again, but he carry over the course. Then this is an 100 level course. Now they now have physics 101 in 100 level too. Now this person now is not, he doesn't have carryover in phase 101, but he has in what mass 101. Now he's already in 200 level. Now if you want to write the carryover course now, he will only write what mass 101. Now he's not going to write physics 101 again. Now this 200 level student will not be what the only student that studied what that took what mass 101. Then why for this one, the 100 level students will not study both. But now they still study what mass 101. Maybe like now the 100 level students were like 30. They study 30. They were 30 in numbers. The 100 level students that study both. Then why this? Why this is the number of students that study what only what mass? Maybe just one student. Then if you now want to get the number of students that study what both, this is the number of students that study both. Then if you now want to calculate students that study what mass 101 and people that study only mass 101 and phase 101 plus this one, that means if this 100 levels 200 level student is included, now people that study mass that did mass 101 exam we what 31. Now if you now want to get the number of the students that study only what mathematics, you subtract the student that study what both, which is what 30. Now the student that study both what 30. If you subtract it, you find the one that study only what that did only what mass 101 what exam. That's simply what the trick. You can pause the video and just go by right again or put on slow motion to understand what I just said. Now that's the only what concept. Take note of it. Now since now we now have only, we don't have to what if now want to get the number of students that studied everything. Now since we have 40, now, if you look at the other time, the other one that does have only, we subtracted what the common ones, the student that study both. But now for this one now, since it's only, we are not going to subtract, we are going to what add. Now we what student that study only French will be what 10 plus what x. Then we now add what the student that study both, which is what plus what 20. Then why for the other one, student that study only history will now be what plus x plus what 20. Then minus 20. Now you see the other one, we added the common one, but for this one now, we are not subtracting. Just take note of these two key things. That's why I picked this example to explain everything for you. You can solve any other Venn diagram question with your knowledge of this. Now, we now have this one will cancel what this. Then we now have what 40 is equals to 10 plus, if you collect like things, we now have 30 plus what 2 what x. Now, if you subtract, collect like things, do the major things, we now have what 10 is equals to what 2x. Then divide by what 2, divide by what 2 here cancel, 2 here cancel. Then our s is equals to what 5. So that's a major thing. Now the s is now what 5. They now ask us to look for what how many students studied what French. Now let's now go for it. Now since we now find the student, now we have gotten the number of students that we have gotten the value of x. I want to study. We now want to know how many students study French. Not only both the one that study French and history that were included. They want to know everybody that study what French. Now, how many people study French only? We have what 10 plus. Then anyway, you see x, you put 5 there, which is what 15. So for French now, question 1. For French now is 115 plus the number of students that study what both, which is what 35. So its number of students that study what French is what 35. We added the one that study what both to it. Now, if how will they ask us only now? Because they give us the value for only. Now, for the other one too, the number of students that study what history. Now, which is what anyway, you put what 5. Then plus the number of students that study what both history and what French, which is what 20. So our answer is now what 25. Now with this now, you are good to go. So hope this you find this tutorial helpful, and God bless you. See you another time.